And again, when I tell Anthony, I apologize, the Islanders don't get that many headlines because they don't make that many headlines. They only played 3 games last week, but there's still plenty to talk about with them. So first they come out, they pound Montreal, shut out Winnipeg, and then they have that disastrous third period against Minnesota. Anthony got to go. Oh, first off, actually, before I let me do that, let me give the tidbit for you. Who was the last New York Islander to score 4 goals in a game as Brock Nelson scored 4 goals against the Montreal Canadiens? You're correct. It's Kyle Oposo. Take it away.
Yeah, they had that long layoff after Nashville. They went into Montreal, and they took care of business. They beat a bad team. Sorokin was fantastic in that game. Actually, after the game, Barry Trotz essentially apologized to him and said that he should have had another shutout because 5 minutes left in the game, he still had the goose egg on the board, and then Trotz rewarded some guys who worked hard, who don't normally play power play minutes, and he put Chara out there, and he put a couple of fourth line guys out there, and it resulted in getting a shorthanded goal against. So, he apologized to him for that, and then they had that 5-on-3 they took at the end where, he almost got across and made a ridiculous save, but it went in. But he played strong. They outplayed Montreal in every area of the game. Collected the 2 points. The game against Winnipeg, Winnipeg's a good team. They went into Winnipeg. They shut down their big guys, Chytil and Wheeler. Sorokin, again, very, very solid. Got his 3rd shutout of the season. And then, going to Minnesota, and they have a 2-1 lead, Varlamov's first game of the year. And for not playing since June, I thought that Varlamov played pretty well. I would say that the 3rd goal he would have liked to have back, but overall, for not playing in so long, he had to be happy with it. But unfortunately, they dropped that game. And so far on this road trip, I think as an Islander fan, you have to be happy considering it's a 13-game road trip, and they've put themselves in a position to close with 3 games left on it to close it out, with being over 500. So actually winning New Jersey tomorrow would solidify definitely being over 500 in this road trip. So overall, pretty good. I thought their defense has started to go back to playing Islander style defense. Brock Nelson has heated up. Barzal had a fantastic game against Minnesota. He was flying all over the ice. So they're, like I said last week, they're starting to show those flashes of being that really, really good Islander team. And again, this 13-game road trip, it's grueling, it's long, and all things considered, I think they're in a good spot right now where they are. But there's no doubt about it that if you pick their best players so far this season, it's Ilya Sorokin by a decent amount. He's been absolutely fantastic. I mean, the guy has 3 shutouts, but I mean, he lost that shutout in Chicago with 24 seconds left. And then the game in Montreal, which Trotz essentially took, responsibility for him not getting the shutout. I mean, that's talking, he could have had 5 shutouts in 9 games. I mean, that's just, even having 3 shutouts in 9 games is ridiculous. And, so you can't say enough good things about him. I think he's their starting goaltender from this point. I know they're going to start to ease Varlamov back in, but right now you got to go with Sorokin for the majority of these games because he's giving the team a chance to win every single night. And as an Islander fan, you have to be ecstatic that he's in between the pipes.
Just before I turn this over to John, Anthony and I were doing research to find the last time the Islanders had a lead in the 3rd period and lost in regulation. Couldn't even find it under Trotz. They're still looking for it. It might never have happened until it happened Sunday. So if you guys know if that when the last time they had a lead in the 3rd and lost in regulation, put it down in the comments below. Mr. Folkowski, your thoughts on the Islanders right now?
They're playing the way that they need to be playing and where they should be playing. They're the team that we thought they should be. They look like they're going to challenge for the division. Whether they actually win the division, I don't know. I said that they would, but Carolina looks to be an absolute force. Washington doesn't seem to be going away. So this division's probably going to be a 3-dog fight. And you can't really count out Pittsburgh once they get back everybody back to full strength, they've played well enough to tread water somehow. I know they lost last night in a shootout against Chicago because Tristan Jarry just can't do it. I mean, Tristan Jarry looked amazing in the overtime and then was absolute crap in the shootout for them. It was just amazing how that worked. But I wouldn't count out Pittsburgh. They're still getting points despite that. Islanders, they're playing Barry Trotz hockey now. Everybody's in, everybody's engaged, everybody's back. Parise seems to have found a fit. Like I know we were talking about a couple of weeks ago and how you were questioning where the fit was. He's found that fit. He's fine. Ilya Sorokin
still ain't scoring, but that's a different story.
Yeah, but you know what? They didn't bring him in to score.
Right.
If he gives you 10 plus goals on that third line, you're happy at that point with that signing, and you're not paying him to be a big scorer, so not worrying about that. I still worry about their defense coming down the stretch and then playoff time. I still think they need to make an acquisition. Lou has cap space, so he probably will make something happen. It's just a matter of who that is and when the opportunity comes about to get that player. But otherwise, they look like they're in midseason form. It just everything is clicking on all cylinders. A weird kind of loss there with Minnesota. Uncharacteristic. Probably won't happen much again. I wonder if it will actually happen like that again by the end of the season. I wonder if the Islanders will blow a third period lead like that again this season. I knowing the way that Barry Trotz coaches that team and the attention to detail that they have, I don't think it's going to happen. You never know, but it's a very, very rare miscue for an Islander team under Barry Trotz. So I like what I see from them. Sorokin has done the job. He's been very good when he's been called on to, when he's been called on to step up and make the big saves. He's made them. He probably could have, I'd say, 2 more shutouts on his record this year. Like you said, the other one where Trotz took the blame for. But you know what? If you're an Islander fan, you really don't have a lot to complain about. And if we did power rankings again, the Islanders would probably be near the top of my division in the power rankings. So,
well, to borrow another Alice in Chains title, and also mention if it's a 3-dog fight, the Islanders ain't the one that's on John's shirt. They're going to have all 4 legs. That's more like Washington that's got the 3-legged dog that's right there for you. John, show him the shirt real quick. There you go. See, the Islanders got all 4 legs, unlike that one. But you know what the Islanders are going to do? Just like the first track on that album, they're going to have to grind. And that's what the Islanders do, and that's what they do best. So I have trouble seeing this team as a comeback team even still right now. So if you're going to beat the Islanders, you got to get that first goal. If they get the first goal, the game is basically over. So it's just that simple. They win the center battle every single time, and they'll just wear you out with their, to borrow Colin Campbell's phrase about the Devils, a flock of interchangeable forwards. But Matt Barzal isn't even going yet. A lot of the guys aren't even going yet. We haven't heard much of JG Pageau. But you know what? They're winning games, and they're gonna be right there at the end. I still have them finishing second to Carolina and eliminating the Rangers in the first round right now. So yay. Anthony, though, so not this Saturday. Next Saturday is going to be a huge night for you and the entire Islander fan base. They're going to get Jersey. Then it's their second back-to-back of the season. So that grueling schedule with only 2 back-to-backs. Thursday versus Jersey, Monday at Tampa, and then Tuesday at Florida. And then next Saturday night, not this one, they open in UBS Arena. Your thoughts, Anthony?
Well, I think the Devils have been no slouch. So I think the Devils it's not going to be a cakewalk, but I think there's going to be a large contingent of Islander fans there tomorrow night. I think they're going to go into that game. I think Sorokin's going to be back in between the pipes. I think they're going to win that game. I mean, Tampa and Florida, those are going to be 2 tests. Obviously, I think the guys are going to be jacked up to play against Tampa Bay. They're definitely not going to forget what Tampa Bay did to them the last 2 playoffs. So I'm sure they're going to have an extra jump in their step against Tampa, and then against Florida. They know that Florida beat them pretty handily in the second game of the year, and that's sure something they have a bad taste in their mouth about. And I think they're going to come out and play Florida much stronger this time around. So on that back-to-back, I mean, I think if they can get 3 out of 4 points, I mean, that would be great. Obviously, winning both would be tremendous, but I think to shoot for 3 out of that 4 would be the starting point there. But again, I think they're in the stretch run here of this road trip being over. Again, I referenced if they beat New Jersey tomorrow night, that guarantees them a winning record in this road trip, and that alone, 13-game road trip to start the year. I mean, if you're going to say you're going to come home and you're going to be on the plus side, you got to take that all day and run. So that's a good thing. And listen, they're going to put themselves in a good position now. We'll have a stretch of games at home at UBS Arena, and I think this is where they can really take off because, like I said, barring a disaster, these next 3 games, they've done the job on this road trip. They held serve, and now it's coming home. Get used to their new building. The fans are going to be fired up, and then go from there. So I think they're in a good spot right now. I just think for me, it's important that Trotz stick with Sorokin in goal. I mean, he's the guy now. Get him in even more of a rhythm, and sprinkle in Varlamov when you can. I know on a back-to-back, obviously they're going to split, but you got to ride the hot guy. And then again, Phil referenced it. Parise is not scoring right now, but I mean, he's like a dog on a bone on the forecheck. He's really been great on that third line. He's opening up more space for Oliver Wahlstrom to get open for his shot. He picked up his first 2 points of the year in the game against Winnipeg. He had 2 assists. So he's been really good, even though it's not showing up on the score sheet. Oliver Wahlstrom has 5 goals. Brock Nelson's really coming on. So they're in good shape. And then let's not forget, they did make a trade on this. They traded Boychuk to Buffalo. For people who were kind of scratching their head wondering about that, I'll explain it. They were using LTIR. So now with Boychuk gone and not using LTIR, this allows them to accrue cap space now like every other team. So it gives them now $2 million available. And then come the trade deadline, they should have upwards of $10 million to use on an acquisition. So that was really important. And then Leo Kamarov is going to be signing with SKA St. Petersburg. So once he clears on unconditional waivers, he didn't go on today. So I'm assuming he'll probably go on unconditional waivers tomorrow. And his $3 million cap hit, poof, off the book. So that gives Lou some even more coin to play with here, going forward. So they're in a good spot. I'm not, I think they're, like you said, coming into the stretch at UBS. I think they're really going to come on, and I'm excited to see how they play at that new arena because I think everyone's going to be really fired up, and it's going to show.
And I'll ask you.
Yeah, go ahead. You first.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Mark. I got to ask you this because I know the talk of the town for the Islanders has really been Sorokin.
Yeah.
And I think you probably agree with this, but would you say that really Brock Nelson right now is the driving force on the Islanders?
Offensively, yes. Definitely. Barzal's been spotty. He's.
Did we just lose him?
Did we just lose you, Anthony?
I think he might be frozen.
He's still there for a minute.
The lighting just went like crazy there for a second. And
then that was weird. That was
really weird.
He just kind of flashed out. By the way, Islander fans, we're going to have more on Brock Nelson in a moment.
It's hoping you can get back, Anthony, here.
All right. Well, while we're waiting for Anthony to get back, Phil, what do you think the Islanders' record is over the next 3 games?
Well, they have what? New Jersey.
They go to Jersey, they go to Florida. Tampa, and then they go to Florida. This, by the way, is the first time I could really say the travel is grueling because they're going from up north back down south. We got Anthony again. He's he's actually hold on. We actually had 2 Anthonys for a moment.
Yeah, we had 2 Anthonys for a moment there, but yeah, I think these next 3 games they go 2-1. I think Florida could beat them again. I think Florida's going to come out of their funk. I think Bobrovsky is going to go back into the net. And I think that could be the loss, but I definitely think they beat Jersey, and I could definitely see them beating Tampa Bay because Tampa Bay is really kind of just up and down, and not having Kucherov definitely hurts them.
Anthony.
What I was saying was before that all happened, Brock Nelson has been the driving force offensively. You know, Barzal's been spotty. Like in Minnesota, he was great. Against Winnipeg, his line didn't really. I mean, he had the assist on Lee's goal, but that first line wasn't the driving force that game. It's mostly been Nelson's line and then the Parise, Pajot, Wallstrom trio. But yeah, Brock Nelson's been fantastic. Like Mark has mentioned, he's used as a matchup center, but he also has the responsibility of producing. He's been doing that. He leads the team in points. And boy, if you talk about a player who's come such a long way since Barry Trotz took over. I mean, pre-Barry Trotz, he was a guy that would score, 22 goals. But I mean, he didn't really deliver in any other areas of the game. But I think
he's been a defensive force too.
Yeah. I think maybe having a bigger role and Trotz believing in him really helped his game take off. And he's been great for the Islanders.
He's become a pain in the ass to play against. I've noticed that, and especially in the Pittsburgh and Boston, in the playoffs last year in general, I should say, he was a real pain in the ass for the opposition centers to play against. So, he was the guy that I have to eat a ton of crow on, because I thought that, he had that nice first season under Trotz and Trotz's first year in 19. And I was like, all right, you know what? Brock Nelson, he's inconsistent. He'll go back. He'll regress to the mean. But Barry Trotz has found he's unlocked something with him. So I mean, good for Barry Trotz and good for Brock Nelson.
Anthony, real quick, Islanders next 3 games. Give me what they're going to be.
I think they beat Jersey. I think they beat Tampa. And then I think they fall to Florida again, but I don't think it's going to be another, 5-2 loss or whatever it was. I think maybe they lose in overtime, or maybe it's just a 1-goal loss in regulation. But so yeah, I'm going to say 2-1. I mean, listen, as an Islander fan, you hope for 3-0, but I'd say realistically 2-1 or 2-0-1, where they at least pick up a point. But that's how I can see that.
Right. I'm going to say 2-0-1, the same thing. I think they're going to run out of steam by the time they get to Florida. And not that Florida right now, this is the time to get them. They're still trying to figure things out. And even though they had that big win against Carolina, they come out against Rangers and the Devils. Like against the Devils last night, they were down 2-1. They were up 3-2 and then tied 3-3, all within about a matter of a minute and a half. So we'll see about that. So what do you guys think about the way the Islanders have been playing? Throw it down in the comments below. How about Brock Nelson and Ilya Sorokin? I mean, words cannot describe what they've been doing, but Anthony's been putting it in our group chat every 5 seconds. So, guys, if you like that video, we got a lot more. So check out any of these that are right over here. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.